Charles is going to put the Victoria County History project into some sort of context, and then Viv is going to talk a little bit about what it means locally, and to encourage people, hopefully there will be people from tonight, to volunteer to do some research and to be part of it. Very briefly, Charles has a very extensive CV, of which I can only give an extract, one of which is that he's currently a professor of, is it land geography?
Rural geography.
Yeah, you can read it at Nottingham University, yeah. So it's that. In addition, you're chair of the Herefordshire Victoria County History Project and chair of the Society for Landscape Studies. Yeah. And Charles has written books on trees and landscapes and various things. So well worth a look if you want to find out a little bit more about Charles's background. Viv Simpkins, she needs no introduction. She's famous, if not infamous, within the village. So Viv will be doing a short spiel. So could I ask you all to welcome Charles Watkins? Oh.
Thank you very much. And we're plunged into darkness at the back. Oh, you're plunged into darkness. I can't see your happy faces. So I'm here just to talk about the Victoria County History, which is established in, I think, 1899, 1900, that sort of period. And Herefordshire got off to a really good start. It produced its first volume in 1908, 1909, that sort of period, and then stopped. No more volumes are produced. The sort of volumes that are produced, you may, if you're interested in history, there are these what are called the red books, and these large red books, and most libraries have them, and you can see a lot of them online now. And these are, as it were, the full and thorough history of different villages and parishes and towns across the country. Some counties, the wealthier ones, for example, like Oxfordshire and Essex, they've got oodles of these volumes. Herefordshire still has the one. It's not that we're a particularly poor county, but there are other things that are more interesting perhaps than history. But of course, history is absolutely fascinating. The more one looks at history, it's really important. So we started work, a group started work on the Victoria County History of Hereford and restarted it at the start of this millennium, and we've almost finished the books that we're doing for the Ledbury area, and the aim to produce a red book for Ledbury, that place far at the east end of the county, in about 2 years' time. So that'll be the first one. Then the aim is, and we're about to start research right at the north of the county. I was talking to someone earlier, and he said I'm not going to mention the name, he said he lived across the other side of the county, and I said, oh, where? And he mentioned a place in Shropshire. He said, oh, I thought Leintwardine was in Shropshire. Anyway, I'm joking. I'm not joking, I won't mention the name, but of course it is right on the border, and it's an interesting thing to think about, that background and history. Now, how do we produce a red book? Well, at the moment, what we do is we produce a series of smaller books. This is the last one we did on Cradley, which is a village down towards near Malvern, and that is what we call a VCH short. And our aim is to produce VCH shorts for Leintwardine, for Wigmore, and for Brampton Bryan to get the ball rolling in this northern part of the county. So I think probably I might have just said what I'm supposed to be saying, but I'm going to summarise that give a bit more detail. A succinct and encyclopedic account of Leintwardine parish from prehistory to the present day. So, of course, one of the attractions of Leintwardine for parish history is its Roman origins, but, of course, lots of villages have Roman origins, I suppose, but you've got more evidence of that. And there's a larger plan to publish a VCH Red Book for Northwest Herefordshire. And it will probably cover those parishes. We're not quite sure, but Leintwardine, Berrington, Downton, Elton, etc., Wigmore, and those parts of Prestine that are in Herefordshire, and so forth. It will slightly change once detailed work begins, as we see where the enthusiasm for work, and we need to work with enthusiastic groups. And these short books, as I say, proposed for Leintwardine, Brampton Vine and Wigmore. Other parishes will be published online. And then the idea is that once that work is together, that then goes to a red book. And each of these shorts has a standard, this is across the country, has a standard, and perhaps, as I've said, slightly dry looking. It's on landscape, settlements and buildings, manors and estates, farming, industry and tourism and so forth. And so there's lots of opportunity for people to research specific things which they are very interested in. And you can produce, and we work with volunteers. We've worked with volunteers in all the parishes, but we also employ professional historians to pull the thing together. So those are the sorts of topics we're looking at, the themes. And of course, what can we do to look at this? One of the key areas in which volunteer support work is transcription and notation of a wide range of documentation. Now, of course, Leintwardine is remarkable in many ways. It's fantastic, isn't it? You've got the 2 pubs, the chip shop, the garage, the spa. You've got everything you could possibly want, really, in life, and the churches, of course. But you've also got the History Society, which produces this. This is the September 2025 issue, number 93. 93 issues of history have already been written on a whole range of topics. And also, you've got a digital, Viv was showing me the digital repository. And this is fantastic. So you've got lots of material in this digital repository, which is, I'm actually doing a sales talk. You're probably all members of the Leintwardine History Society, but if not, you should definitely join. Is there a subscription?
Yes, very so.
And how much is it, roughly?
Is it £25 a head?
Well, there we are, a snip.
John will know.
It's around £25 a head. Anyway, but it is, in terms of villages in Herefordshire, it must be one of the liveliest village. I think I'm looking at towards the. Yeah, I think it's the liveliest village history society. So there's an enormous amount of accumulated knowledge about the area, and which has already been transcribed. So transcribed wills and so forth. But there's more to be done, and so we look at and this is a sort of volunteer action that one can look at. Now, a lot of the material, of course, is in Hark. I always think Hark, I mean, it's a very sustainable building. Is it attractive? That's a matter of opinion. But it's a really good place to work, and they've got very good archives which are very well kept. And there are a lot of records, deeds and estate records, maps and photographs, court rolls, census material. But of course, increasingly, a lot of this material is also available online. So, as it were, rather than driving all the way down to Hereford to look at it, you can actually access some of this material online and do this in front of the log fire or whatever. So there's research that can be done at home. And then other material is locally produced materials, newsletters, leaflets, parish, and of course the material produced by the Leintwardine History Society, and then also family material. So things that families hold. Everyone's got family photographs, perhaps property deeds, all sorts of memories. Oral histories are very important as well. Yes, Sheridan's dog. Yes, oral histories are important, and the dog spake. Perhaps we should talk about histories of animals. How were animals looked at in the past? So think of those as things, and we can collect all sorts of information, which then has to be reduced down to make this short history. And also, we've got local knowledge of recent changes and developments, parish stories and traditions, dates of buildings, Duncan, general awareness of the landscape and topographical changes. So a lot of people have a detailed knowledge of an area, although you might not necessarily think you do have that knowledge, but you do have it, and it's finding that out. And of course, in the broader history of the area, of course, Duncan will be talking about the medieval buildings and so forth, but of course you've got the terrific medieval history of the area. One has to think of societies like the Mortimer History Society, which work particularly associated more with Wigmore, but in this broader area. And then, of course, you've got the Roman history as well. So it's a very, very rich area to look at and look at the history. And of course, one just has to look at the physical features of the landscape, the wonderful bridge over the river, that astonishing memorial to Sir Bannister Tarleton in the church and his extraordinary life. And then, and that's wherever we are, that old building there, yes. So we think of the actual physical landscape, walking the parish, making notes of what's there. So there really is a terrific amount of history in the area. And now, how can you volunteer? Well, there's a piece of paper on your chairs, and some there's even pens, I think. And this, Viv, and who will collect those up?
Any one of us on the committee.
So members of the committee will collect through. And this is to ask if anyone would, because we're just starting this work, we're just beginning work, and after Christmas it'll start getting going. Would you be interested in helping research in any of these following areas? Tick that, name and email address, and then any particular stories or traditions, dates, general awareness of landscapes. And so it'd be great if you could fill that in and help us, as it were, to get this history moving. I think that's all I've got to say, actually. There's my email address. And Jonathan Comber, very important. He's the treasurer. How do we fund this? Well, we fund it through, don't worry, I'm not going to pass the begging bowl out, but it's funded through charitable trusts and so forth, and also people subscribe. But the fact that we've done this for the Ledbury area shows you can do it. It's amazing. You can get your various charitable trusts give money, you can subscribe. There are obviously now more other online ways of getting funding. So we fund this to get the material going off the ground. So that's really all I've got to say. But I think we could have some questions if we wanted. And Viv, do you want to?
Do my bit?
Yeah.
Just to say, when I first heard about this project, it sounded awfully vague and amorphous and interesting. But what do we do actually? And I thought you might be feeling like that. So I picked up a couple of publications that we've got to show you it's been done before. And if they could do it then, we can do it now. So this one is The History of the Village of Leintwardine, 1855 to 1955, and the WI did it. Their names are in it, just ordinary women in the WI went round collecting information and wrote a book about it. And then after that, there was another one, also by the WI, The History of the Village of Leintwardine from 1952 to 1977. And John published that in the journal. If you've been a member for a long time, this was issue 45. So half a history society ago. So they could do it then. So all we need in some ways is from 1977 to now. And that's where your memories come in, especially those of you who've been born or grown up in the village. And that's why on your pieces of paper, we wanted you to write about things that have changed since then. So can you help? It's a wonderful way to make the most of the archives that John Williams left us and honour him by getting involved. Thank you.
Yeah.
There's an opportunity now if you want to ask any questions. Could I ask, if you do, I'll hand you the mic. Just helps into the recording. So it's Brian. Yep. No meeting will be complete without a question from Brian. Can you manage that? You got it.
Thank you very much, Chair. I was slightly intrigued by your 6 chapter headings, and was wondering whether there should also be a 7th, maybe it should be the 1st, which makes reference to the geology of the area. That appears to be missing altogether, because of course it is the basic geology which subsequently controls the historical development. I mean, we've done a little bit of this with our Leintwardine History Society journal. Just a couple of quick examples. our water supply here is controlled by the geology. The water meadows are controlled by the geology, and I could go on. I think there is something lacking there which needs to be addressed.
Thank you very much. I couldn't agree more. This is just a summary of what's in there. So geology will be included, is always included in the first one on landscape and settlement. So in landscape, it's geology and landscape. So geology, I couldn't agree more. I'm a geographer. Geology is of crucial importance and will be included. We've just got to, we can't put everything on, it's just trying to get it all on one slide, but it's just not there. But in the I've got a longer list I can give you where geology is fully included. Don't worry.
There are quite a lot of Whig morons here.
Yes.
I'm a Whig moron.
Yes.
So this cut-off line of 1975 presumably wouldn't apply to us.
Which cut-off?
Well, Viv...
No, I didn't mean a cut-off line.
Oh, sorry, Viv. Right, I misunderstood.
Oh, no, it'll be going right back from the free history to now. I think Viv was just meaning that there was a lot in terms of memories written in those.
Fine, that's
but
fine.
no, Wigmore, obviously, yes,
Fine.
yes.
Anybody else got any questions?
Yep.
I thought it was in Shropshire, so that was on.
Can you just use the microphone?
Oh, okay. But I thought Bucknell's in Shropshire, so that was
Well,
on the list.
Bucknell is an interesting case, yes.
Okay.
I think part of it is in Herefordshire, we think.
Right.
And we've discussed this with the Shropshire Victoria County History, and they don't want to do the Shropshire part of Bucknell, and they said that we can do Bucknell.
Okay,
There's been a border dispute discussion. I'm afraid I don't think I've ever been to Bucknell, but it's obviously rather important, so I'm going to have to go there and look at this. Yeah, I mean, there are so many. All the different parishes have enormous importance. I mean, just thinking of Downton, for example, and the castle and all the history there and the iron. So every parish you look at, we've been looking at one parish called Donnington, which is right near the Gloucestershire border, on the Gloucestershire border down below Ledby, and we thought, well, there wouldn't be much to find. But as soon as you start doing the research, there's an enormous amount of material. So it will be here. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, but you're right.
Karen's got a question.
Thanks, Ralph. I just wonder what constitutes now, because there's an awful lot happening in our parish now.
It's now is when the book is published.
So you're interested in changes that have happened in very recent
Yes,
times
indeed.
and are still happening?
When was Wi-Fi available? And someone was asking the question, when did sustainable rubbish collection? Is it sustainable? I don't know. When were streets covered in rubbish bins?
OK, thank you.
For example, loss of telephone boxes. And banks. Was there a bank in? You see, a bank in the lost bank, the bank records would be interesting, wouldn't they? Yes. Yep, all that sort of stuff. That sort of micro-histories are really rather important. I mean, there won't be pages written on that, but it'll be part of that sort of tapestry of what we write about.
Any other questions? No? OK. Well, thanks very much.
Thank you. Thank you.